Good evening, everybody. So I'm going to start off with a quick question. Like the title, what is in your pocket? Anybody? Your phone, okay. What else? Your wallet, okay. Keys, okay. So generally, the three things that you're most likely to have with you at any point of time is your wallet, your car keys, your house keys, and your phone. Your wallet, why? Because you need to pay to get, a glass of wine from here. Your car keys, because you need to leave here at some point in time. Your house keys, because you need to get back in at home. Your mobile phone, why? Because that has become a central point of communication nowadays. But your mobile phone didn't always fit in your pocket. Nowadays, it's a bit easier. It started off with something like this. It used to be called a half brick at some point in time. And the rental for one of these in Sri Lanka, if you look at the extreme left, was around approximately 175,000 rupees a month. That was just the phone rental. So when you look at the context of how mobile phone technology has evolved through the years, it's incredible to see how something went from 175,000 rupee rental to 100 rupee rental. And this is what we have in our hands now every single day. It's a most personal device that you always have with you. People take it with them everywhere they go, whether it's to the bathroom, whether it's to see their friends, wherever they go. It's kind of creepy. They have their phone with them. If you look at mobile subscribers in Sri Lanka, it's seen an incredible amount of growth over the years. So you kind of see sort of it flatlines up until around 2000. And once 2000 hits, it really picks off with the introduction of GSM technology. And the number, if anyone is to guess, does anybody have any guesses as to how many mobile subscribers there are in this country right now? Yeah. 19.6 million mobile subscribers in this country. How many people do we have in this country right now? What's the Sri Lankan population? It's around 21 million at the last census. So when you compare how many mobile subscribers there are in this country compared to the population, that is an incredible, incredible number. And the kind of base and the kind of markets that you're hitting is incredible. So the power of mobile really is mass media. People tend to think along, when you say mass media, people think print, television. But you really need to think along the lines of this device, because it's something you carry around with you every single day. Your response time for an SMS is around 3 seconds. Because everybody, the moment you pick up a phone, you kind of read it. Even if it's not something extraordinarily interesting. How do people get their news nowadays? When something happens in this country, the first thing to usually happen is someone's phone is going to go off and someone's going to get a news alert. 5 years ago, people used to tune in to their TVs at 8 o'clock to make sure people watch their daily news reports. Nowadays, it's incredible how the context has changed. But the question is, how can we use internet and mobile in Sri Lanka to better our society? So let's look at it from I like to look at it from what you call an educational perspective. But not just education in our traditional context, but education in what I like to call a societal context. I've kind of broken it up into 3 sectors. One is sector-specific training, one is lifestyle optimization, and one is cultural education. So I'll go into that in detail in a second. So we talked about sector-specific training. Tourism is something that I hold really close to my heart. The reason being, I was involved with a lot of tourism training programs. So programs like this, where we would, train everybody in the tourism industry, from trishaw drivers to taxi drivers to guest house owners. But sustainability was always really challenging. But the question is, can we use mobile in this context? Can we, provide them with some sort of incentive so that they'll get a tourism tip of the day? Whereas, for example, you always approach a guest from your right side, not from your left. What if they were, instead of going through a daily workshop and forgetting that they were supposed to go from the right, what if they were reminded every single day about something, a little bit thing, just a little snippet of information? I like to think along the lines of, how Sunsilk introduced their shampoos? First in the big bottles, then in the smaller bottles, then in the little sachets. Now they all come in the little sachets, because you can use them one at a time. But the question is, can we use education in that same context? Can we educate people one little snippet at a time? So this was again the first aid training. Can we educate people on first aid? This was again in the tourism sector. Just one little snippet at a time. But going on to lifestyle optimization, there are a couple of things that we can think about. Can we use mobile to educate people about health? How many liters of water do people need to drink a day? Anybody? 3, 6, 9? The numbers vary, but if there was a device, if there was some sort of concrete implementation where people are constantly fed with this information, could we change lifestyle habits? Could we make lifestyle habits far more useful in a way that people would live their lives a lot better? Can we apply it to things like budgeting? For example, in Sri Lanka, every company has an obligation to pay to give you a receipt every time that you purchase something. Instead of getting a receipt, what if you just got an SMS? Just a simple SMS. And some companies already do this to an extent. But what if it didn't stop there? What if at the end of the week you could log into a website and punch in your mobile number and they would tell you exactly what you spent your money on? What if you could analyze, I spent X amount of money on this, I spent X amount of money on groceries, I spent X amount of money buying wine at Park Street Mews, I spent X amount of money on every single thing on petrol. Could we learn to save money better, to spend money better? As someone in advertising, would I love to have that information, knowing how people spend their money? Yeah, that'd be fantastic. But it's already kind of built into our society. I mean, if you look back, say, 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, people used to line up, at 4 in the morning to get an appointment with their doctor. Nowadays, all they do is pick up their phone and dial e-channeling. Movie tickets, train tickets, easy cash, things are picking up. Mobile is becoming huge in Sri Lanka. It already is huge. The question is, how do we take it to the next level? We're kind of at that tipping point where companies are kind of seeing the potential, but they're, on that verge of do we take the plunge? But with 19.6 million subscribers, should we? I don't think we should even think about it. So like I said, can we apply it to healthy living lifestyles? Can we apply it to do we need a clutter of receipts? Does anybody even keep their receipts? I mean, people of the older generation would probably tend to keep them, to keep track of them. But nowadays, I mean, I almost always pick up that piece of paper and throw it away, and that's a waste of a tree as well. When you really think about the recycling habit of it as well. So, is this really necessary? Cultural education. This is something that I personally think would be fantastic because Tamil, for example, is a language I've always wanted to learn. I've never really had the time to actually invest in it and learn Tamil and go through Tamil classes. But if I was to receive just a little snippet of information of this is my Tamil word for the day, and could I learn that? Could that same technology be applied to rural villages where people learn English, learn Sinhalese? With a literacy level of 93% in this country, there is already an emphasis on education. So can we take that same learning and sort of desire for education and take it mobile? History. A lot of people don't know much about Sri Lankan history now. It's a shame. I mean, this massive wonder, the eighth wonder of the world, there are so many hidden stories behind it. The guy who built it, the guy who essentially ran this, King Kashyapa, if people knew the amount of stories, I mean, he had a brother called Mughal, they had a massive family feud. He ended up committing suicide because his elephant kind of stepped back and people thought he retreated. But that's a completely different tangent. But people don't know these stories. That's the point I'm trying to make. Could we get people to know about Sri Lankan culture? We have such a rich history, and it's such a shame to see young people nowadays not see that. And young people are constantly glued to their mobile phones. So can we take those two things and sort of mix them together? So I'll be asking a lot of questions. I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but I'm urging you to think about what the answers are, because we have them with us nowadays. Can we make conventional education unconventional, and how do we do that? The one thing in Sri Lankan education culture is this whole concept of going for tuition classes. I don't know whether everyone is familiar with it. I'm sure you guys are. But after school, everyone goes to a massive tuition class. It's kind of embedded into Sri Lankan culture. You go to school from 7 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. At 3 o'clock, you have a class. And that's starting to start at a much earlier age. Can we take that from an offline arena to an online arena? Can we use tools such as YouTube and Google Hangouts to actually Web Pathashala and Dialogue eTeacher are two programs that have kind of started that journey. But can we take that from a mobile perspective? Can we get teachers posting up revision classes on YouTube? And can we take that more to a mobile arena? Because again, smartphone penetration in this country, surprisingly, last year the data revealed that it was at 6%. That's around 600,000 mobile smartphones. This year, the number that's being talked about is 20%. 20% of all mobile subscribers in this country now have smartphones. And in the next few years, that number is going to increase drastically. So 20% of 19 million is an incredible number. You guys do the math. But the question is, how do we integrate mobile into daily school life? I know nowadays, taking a mobile phone into school isn't really considered good practice. Could it be? Could we get homework reminders via an SMS? Every day when I went to school and I came back, I used to think, oh, what did my teacher tell me to do? Could she send me a reminder saying, hey, Chamindra, you've got to finish off math assignment 4.2. Would that help me? I'm like, oh, I've got an SMS. Yeah, I can actually keep track of that. Can I get my daily class schedule? When I went into class, I wasn't sure, did I have physics in the morning? Do I have math in the evening? Do I have econ in the afternoon? I couldn't remember every single day. If I got it on an SMS the moment I walked in, hey, Chamindra, be in class. Would I go? Would there be a tendency for me to go? Yeah, probably. It's interesting because e-channeling uses this. Every time your doctor arrives, they send you an SMS. So couldn't that same thing apply in an education environment where every time your teacher came to class, you suddenly got an SMS saying, hey dude, Mr. Herath is now in class. Would I go? Probably. I'm like, okay, he's now in class. Could teachers use this technology to keep track of assignments, of marks, of grades? It still happens on a very minute level. I think you can get your O-level results via an SMS. But could this happen on a more regular level? Whereas in schools, could we constantly get our marks? Could teachers keep track of them via a software and notify students via an SMS? Would that cut down a lot of lag time? Yeah. I mean, it takes so much time nowadays to get our exam results. I mean, you guys know the story behind it. But could we use technology that's already there and mobile subscribers that are already there to sort of take the step further to essentially create a paradigm shift? I think so. And how much would this cost? Before we go back, it roughly costs around 30 rupees a month. That's 1 rupee a day. What can we buy in this country right now with 1 rupee a day? Nothing. So because of that, I kind of have to go to this 30 rupee a month figure. And even with that, you can maybe buy 1.2 milk packets a month. You can buy maybe 1 soft drink a month. And maybe 1/10 of a Big Mac on a good day. And maybe if you save for around 15 months, you'll be able to buy a glass of wine from here. So, my point being, the relative figure is incredible. So 30 rupees a month is the cost for 1 subscription. That's the amount it costs. We already have the mobile subscriber base. We already have the technology. It's just a matter of essentially creating a synergy between the two. So my initial question when I said, what's in your pocket? You've got everything here. Every little thing that you need. You won't need your wallet 5 years from now because you can pay with this. You won't need your car keys or your house keys because there'll probably be an app that'll start your engines for you. There's an app that'll turn off right now, and I'm not even joking. Right now, there's an app that'll turn off your lights and turn on your lights at an exact specific time, every single day. And you can switch off the lights in the other room. You can switch off. You can play around with it. That's true. It's an incredibly fun app. But there's an app to do every single thing. And with smartphone penetration data hitting huge levels in this country. An interesting fact. Sri Lanka will be one of the first countries where people will actually access the internet via a mobile device first. So before their first interaction with the internet would be via a mobile device. So that is an incredibly powerful statement. So mobile really is the future. And will you need your wallet? Will you need your car keys? Will you need your house keys? Probably not. All you'll carry around with you is one of these. You've got the world and much, much more in your pocket. Make sure you're aware of it. Thank you.